Let's look at one more where we see that there's a possibility that we get questions of this sort also. There is a certain there's a certain statement. It's called only. Okay, it's very closely related to all x are y, but what does only mean? I'm going to show you by aid of an example. Now, let's look at it this way. If we were to say only men have beards. Now, what are we trying to say over here? We're trying to say that only men have beards. Can you think about this? You would say, Sonal, when you say have, what are you? Is it the same as are? Yes. Remember in the beginning of the class I told you the rules of grammar are not applicable in these questions. So if it's only men are beards, only men have beards, only men eat beards, only men drink beards, put any verb over there, it's going to be considered are only, right? So you're going to consider it like that. So what do we mean when we say only men have beards? We're going to do that by aid of all. If I say all men are beards, or all men have beards, what does that mean? So when I say all men have beards, I'm saying something like this: men inside, beards outside, right? All x are y, x inside, y outside. Basically, men is a subset of beards. So what I'm also trying to say is that there can be other entities in the area outside men, can be women, can be children, can be old people, can be goats, that may have beards but may or may not be men. So it's not necessary for them to have beards and be men, right? Of course, there's going to be another representation where m is equal to b. But when we look at only, when we look at the representation of the statement only, when we say only men have beards, what are we trying to say? We're trying to say that if an entity has to have a beard, it has to be a man also, right? Even here there can be different entities like women, children, old people that may have beards still, but for them to have a beard, it would be important that they be men also, right? Did you understand? So we're basically drawing the same thing. The other representation can also be m is equal to b in this case. But what we're trying to say is that in the case of only, we're exactly drawing the opposite of all, right? Only men have beards, men outside, beards inside. For all, men is inside and beards is outside. So just for convenience sake, remember, when we have only, we draw something, we draw a set representation which is exactly opposite of all. And of course, m is equal to b is anywhere there. Two overlapping sets are anywhere there, right? What is the conclusion for this statement for only? The conclusion is again similar. It's some x are y or some y are x, right? So can be all men, some men are beard or some beard are men. Let me write it. Some men are beard or some beard are men. Perfect, right? So now we are completely loaded for doing the questions in this segment.